So my name is Dina Matos, and I'm the Executive Director of CARES Foundation. So CARES is actually an acronym for Congenital Adrenal Hyperplasia Research, Education, and Support Foundation. We were founded in New Jersey, where we're still headquartered in 2000. We're about to celebrate our 25th anniversary, and we are the only U.S. organization solely dedicated to supporting patients with CAH. We provide one-on-one support, support group meetings, educational programs, including a podcast that we started last year. We support research for CAH, and we also have a comprehensive care center or centers of excellence program. We currently have 8 centers of excellence across the country that were designated by CARES. So, CAH is a rare genetic disorder that affects the adrenal gland. So, the most severe form is the classic form. And then within classic, there are other severities, including salt wasting. So, in addition to the patient not producing cortisol, they also lose salt. So that's the severest form of the condition. The less severe form is non-classic CAH. That is actually more prevalent, but some of those patients or many of those patients do produce some cortisol if not, enough like a regular person. But it's really the classic CAH patients who are the ones who are replacing the cortisol that their body does not produce. So they require lifelong medication regimen. It is a life-threatening condition because they're always at risk of an adrenal crisis. So for instance, during illness or injury, they could potentially go into adrenal crises. So, for instance, if I was injured in an auto accident, I don't have CAH, so depending on the severity, I might, suffer minor injuries and not have a life-threatening issue. But for a patient with CAH, even a broken bone can result in adrenal crisis because the body does not have the ability to respond to illness or stress the way someone without CAH does. CARES was also actually the organization that advocated for newborn screening for CAH. So as of 2008, every state in the U.S. currently tests for CAH at birth. Prior to that, babies were not surviving. Many of them would not survive because, there wasn't a diagnosis early on, and not always are there outwardly signs of CAH. So, for instance, in female patients with the severe form of CAH, they can be born with atypical genitalia, which means that their genitals on the outside can resemble those of a male patient. So those babies are often diagnosed and were even prior to newborn screening. In terms of the male patients, the condition without the screening was more life-threatening for them because there were no outward signs of the condition. So babies were dying and it was attributed to SIDS or something else because there was no diagnosis at birth. So now newborn screening is part of the Heel Prick program. So, the babies get tested for a number of conditions at birth, and CAH is part of that essay. So patients are now surviving and receiving treatment immediately after birth. There's still some issues where, we've had instances where the blood was drawn, but then it wasn't sent to the lab and patients got really sick and some were, close to death. So it's a life-threatening condition that requires constant monitoring, but also daily medication for the classic form of the condition. And that medication includes glucocorticoids. And because in addition to replacing the cortisol, the doctor's also trying to control the patient's androgen levels. So it becomes tricky. So often they are treated with excess glucocorticoids or steroids because in order to control the androgen levels. So it's not simply the physiologic dose replacing what the body does not produce naturally, but they have to give excess medication in order to control some of the other hormones. And that can contribute to other issues long term, like weight gain, bone loss, and other issues. We are super excited. This is the first time that CAH patients have had a new treatment approved for their condition in more than 70 years. So since the early 50s, when hydrocortisone was discovered as, the glucocorticoid that was indicated for CAH, there's been nothing else in this space. So we have been working with industry partners who are, looking at new treatments for CAH, but particularly with Neurocrine Biosciences, who just received approval for Crinecerfont. What it has shown in clinical trials is that patients were able to significantly reduce their glucocorticoid dosage while also controlling their androgens. So, maintaining the patient, healthy on a lower dose of glucocorticoids with this additional medication. So an adjunct medication. So they don't stop their glucocorticoid treatment. They cannot because that would put them at risk. But they were able during the trials to significantly reduce that. So long term, that's what we want for patients. So we are really, really excited, especially because it's been approved for patients 4 years of age and older. So we have patients in their 40s, 50s, and 60s who have osteoporosis, osteopenia. They've struggled their entire life with obesity and all the other comorbidities that come along with that. So this is, a remarkable milestone for the CAH community. So we have been involved, and Neurocrine has been a great partner in involving patients from the very beginning, from the concept of this, and participating in our educational programs like our patient education conference. They've also participated along with other companies in what we call our patient advisory summit. So it's an opportunity for patients and caregivers to really share their patient journey with industry partners who are interested in the CAH space. So we've been working with them from the very beginning and then helped to recruit, some of the clinical trial participants and keep the public at large or the community at large educated about, the progress with the trials and what, the goals were for them. So we've been involved really from almost the beginning. I'm here 15 years and I probably met, the team at Neurocrine about 14 and a half years ago. So we've been part of that process. And every month we put out, a kind of a miniature newsletter. It's our update for the month. And we always include we've included updates on the trials, and now we will be including, finally the news about the approval. We've also had conversations with them and continue to have conversations with them about access to the medication because, it's wonderful that there's a new treatment available, but if patients don't have access to it, it doesn't help anyone. But Neurocrine has developed a pretty robust program for patients within, the different insurance buckets. So whether they're, commercial insurance, Medicaid, Medicare, they have, programs that are currently in place. So once a patient has a conversation with their doctor and they determine that this is appropriate for them, they can access to the medication immediately and then work, if they have insurance, with their insurance company to get coverage. And if at some point there's a determination that the insurance won't cover it or they're underinsured, then there are programs in place to ensure that the majority of patients who want to try Crinecerfont can be put on that drug.